Political violence isn't going to go away if the people on the other side say exactly the right words from now on. Now, that said, if you turned on the 24/7 news coverage yesterday, you probably saw some unhelpful rhetoric.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
I don't know, man, okay? The whole idea of free speech in America is you can say what you want and not expect to be shot. Can you be challenged? Can you be challenged? Sure. Can you get roasted online? Sometimes. Told to leave a child's birthday party? Yeah. Even though I think I was right that the cake fucking sucked, Derek. All right? That was hardly only the bad take. Even some people who understood that a cycle of violence was not the answer, they still wanted to make sure you knew who'd be coming out on top.
The last thing I ever want is violence. Like, I spent 9 years in and out of war. The last thing I want is that. But if these people keep pushing, they're going to radicalize a huge portion of America that they don't want. I want us to be able to debate like Charlie Kirk always did on every campus, gave the airtime to opposing views. I want that as my America, not trading gunfire, because I'll win.
You could have just stopped with the last thing I want is violence. You didn't have to add in because I'll win. But I guess it's like Jesus always said, turn the other cheek, but be ready to cut a mother. But by the way, who's they? No one knows who the shooter is or what his motivation was. And even if it was political, he doesn't represent half the country. But some of these MAGA guys are acting like this is a liberal declaration of war.
If they could do this, they are capable of anything. I think that was the message. I believe that was the message. It's really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type.
I'm sorry, first off, it's not that hard to radicalize Republicans. You guys almost burned down the country because Cracker Barrel changed its font. Second, far be it from me to tell anyone how to do their job, but you couldn't lose the poop emoji mug for one day? When Walter Cronkite broke the news about the Kennedy assassination, he didn't come out in a wacky novelty bow tie. I did not expect a groan from the audience on the novelty bow tie. And also, once again, who is they? Does anyone want to specify who they is, or are we just going to keep talking about all that they do?
They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. Trump gets hit in the ear. Charlie gets shot dead. They came after Kavanaugh with a rifle to his neighborhood. They went after Musk's cars.
Sort of petered out there at the end, huh, Jesse? If you're trying to rile people up for war, maybe leave out the car vandalism. I mean, look, I'm sure people in the media would love to talk about how they are responsible for what they've done and how they had better watch out, or else they'll get what's coming to them. But I think it would be better if we, as a country, understood that we have a problem with political violence. And we need to start thinking less in terms of what they should do and more in terms of what we have to do. And it's not lost on me today that the last time it felt like we thought in terms of we was on 9/11, when we all came together as a nation. And we did. We did. Even if it was just for one day. You know, sure, we turned pretty quickly to scapegoating Muslims and blogging about how Bush did it. But on that one day, we were united as a country.